From what?
From Bear Grylls, and then you'll tell me something about the parasha.
Oh, right.
I won't have it on that. It's a nice point. So Yaakov Avinu, when he runs away from his parents, he wants to run away from Esav. That is, he goes towards Padan Aram. It says that at nighttime, it says Vayikach me'avnei hamakom. And I always wondered what the purpose of Lakahat me'avnei hamakom was. So I saw this survival show by Bear Grylls. And in the survival show, he goes to the Sahara Desert, and he's there with a canteen of water, a flint, and thousands of miles of sand dunes and 130-degree heat and snakes and scorpions, and he's to survive. So one of the challenges in the survival show is at night the temperatures apparently drop to freezing. That's what he says in the desert. So it's a bitter cold. So he's preparing himself to sleep at night. He's preparing himself to go to sleep. And he does something which I never knew before, and based on what he does, I understand. He says it's an old Berber thing. The rocks in the desert, they absorb heat, and something to do with the rock, it stays warm for a long time. So he takes from the rocks, and he builds an igloo shape, a half igloo. He builds a half igloo, open on one side and closed on the other, even like a partial dome, with the stones. And when he goes to sleep at night, he puts himself inside that thing. Because the heat of the stone, it keeps his head hot at night, and apparently it's a Berber trick to survive the nighttime, the brutal cold. I said, wow, this is fantastic. I never understood what mera ashot mean. So that's that's a great one, no?
Beautiful.
And another thing I learned from Bear Grylls, if Bear Grylls ever watches this on YouTube, I wonder if does he get the chut for olam haba for this? Because he eats even min ha'chai all the time, so I don't know how.
They eat even min ha'chai?
And he's in the desert, so
it's interesting. But do they eat even min ha'chai?
So it's him. It's one person. He's in the desert, for example. He needs to survive, so he'll see, for example, this some sort of creature. Yeah. He'll pick it up, a camel spider. And eat it, mamash alive. You know what I'm saying? Because he has to. Otherwise he'll die. What do you eat in the desert? So the question is, does he get olam haba? Because we're mentioning him in this thing. I don't know. I don't know how that works exactly. Mm-hmm. It's a mystery. It's a mystery for me. Another thing, he gets to this Berber tribe, and he wants water. So they have water because they know where there's water hidden. They have their own wells which are hidden. They hide them. They put stones over them and things like that. So he takes them to one of the hidden wells. He opens it up. He uncovers it, and they draw out water. So this reminded me about Bahiri ben Ro'eh Yitzhak Ro'eh Elimelech. So it's exactly like that. So apparently there was they have these wells in the desert, and you know where your wells are, and you hide them. But of course, somebody else will come and maybe try to, change the markings and take it for himself. So another thing I understood from Bear Grylls is the riv between Yitzhak and Elimelech. Another thing is the pasuk in the book of Bereshit, when it speaks about one of the great grandchildren of Cain. So Cain himself, he builds a city.
Therefore I believe that there were people before Adam Arishon.
Of course.
Were not, didn't have sechel.
Right, they didn't have Selim Elohim. Of course.
Because,
He says, Kol Ra'ai Hargeni, you're going to kill me. That's Pashut, that, right. And that there was people before Adam Arishon. He just was the first person that was created B'Selem Elohim.
No, but that's not the
no, I know. No, that I got from you and Harambam.
And therefore the 6,000 whatever it is, this is not from the creation of the world of the physical world, but from the rational being, because there cannot be no history it's talking about the years of history, right. And there cannot be a history until there's Ben Adam Elohim.
Right. So another thing I learned from Bear Grylls is in the book of Bereshit.
Who is Bear Grylls?
That survivalist, that show that I'm talking about, that he went to the one of the shows, he goes to the Sahara Desert. So he has in the book of the Sefer Perashat Bereshit, there's three brothers. There's Yaval, there's Yuval, and Tubal Cain. So it says one of the brothers, Hu Haya Abi, namely Yaval. Yaval, Hu Haya Abi Yoshev ohel umikneh. So never so what is this big deal? The Bedouins and so what ma big chidush. So, but Ankelos says, Hava Rabbehon deyatve mashkenin umare be'ir.
Yeah.
So what is this? Ohel mikneh. Somehow it's a city, it's not a city. So also another Berber tribe he visited in the Sahara Desert. It was very, very interesting. He's in the middle of the desert, suddenly he gets to this place. There's a wall, maybe it's about 5 feet high. It's a wall around the city. The whole city is very small. I mean, nothing, mamash, like the size of a house, the footprint of a house. And there's a clay wall around it. And then there's an entrance, there's an opening in the wall. And inside this settlement, there's tents. They have tents. So it's a city, because it has a wall around it, and they have the well, and they have the sheep, but it has tents. This is different than the Bedouins. The Bedouins, they have only tents, and then they move from place to place, and they move according to this. And that's the point of the Ankelos on the pasuk, Hu haya abi yoshev ohel umikneh. It was a settled place. It was like a city of Ohalim. And that's a hidush that he made. That you can have a city of Ohalim, but it's a city, even though it's Ohalim. So I thought that was nice from Bear Grylls.
Nice.
And the final hidush from Bear Grylls, it's like this. This is a great one. I thought this is fantastic. Which, by the way, shows that sometimes you can watch a good TV show,
and learn
you get hashkaha piratit if you're studying Torah all day, and then you watch a good TV show. It could be a mitzvah, and suddenly Hashem is poteh Hashem mitmuna, even through the TV show. So the Mishnah says, "Velo b'shemen kik." What is the shemen kik?
Castor oil.
That's what they say. But then the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat says that there's something b'krachei hayam.
Yes.
In the islands of the.
Yes.
And I said, what is it talking about? So, one of the trips, he goes to Hawaii, some jungle in Hawaii, he needs to survive. And he gets to this plant. And the plant has some sort of fruit, and inside the fruit there's a seed. And it's called the kukui plant. Now, I'm saying, what is he doing with the seed? What does he need it for? So he was about to go into a cave. In order to go into a cave, he needed to light a fire so he can see. So he says this kukui plant, the seed in the kukui plant, is perfect for fire. It has this thing, inside it has some sort of substance that you make an oil from, and it's perfect for lighting candles. It's very good for candles, for his purposes. I said, kukui, kik, shemen kik, krachei hayam. You can't get more krachei hayam than Hawaii. And so that's a kukui plant. I thought that's another great,
very nice.
That's a great chidush. And I have all about the kukui plant here. I wrote it down. So a few chidushim on Bear Grylls. And the name of the show is Man versus Nature. I thought that would be a nice thing.
Very nice.
If you have anything you want to add?
No, I don't.
After this, how can you compete with Bear Grylls?
Nachol?
Yes. All right.